What would you do if you owned an advanced robot that looked exactly like you? Charles uses one to go to work in his place while he keeps his salary. The story takes place in 2032. The government has built a huge wall along the border to stop immigrants from entering and taking citizens' jobs. Many jobs are left empty. People then create robots that can work in place of humans. A new law makes it illegal for individuals to own these robots. Charles secretly obtains a robot called C2 that looks exactly like him. He uses it to go to work while he spends his time looking for women to date. When Charles finds someone he likes, he sends C2 to win her over. C2 has a huge database of romantic techniques and can easily charm most women. After C2 spends several days getting close to a woman, Charles takes over when things become more serious. This has become Charles's normal routine. One day, Charles sees a woman named Elaine at a roller skating rink. He returns home and tells C2 to pursue her. Elaine is not impressed by traditional romantic gestures. She mainly enjoys shopping and having someone else pay for everything. This is easy for Charles because he comes from a wealthy family. C2 wins her over in one day and they agree to meet again. Elaine also has a robot double called E2. Her robot takes care of things at home while Elaine handles her social life. Elaine also uses E2 when she does not want to attend certain personal meetings herself. She keeps a busy schedule with many appointments. Her date with C2 is scheduled for the exact time Charles finishes work the next day. This means Charles will not have enough time to return home and switch places with C2. Charles has no choice but to go to work himself. He plans to avoid doing much that day. Then his father suddenly enters the office and announces a board meeting at 6:40. He gives Charles the address before leaving. The meeting clashes with Charles's date with Elaine. Charles decides to send C2 to the meeting instead. He rushes home and prepares the robot before leaving to meet Elaine. Charles arrives at the address he was given. A butler welcomes him and offers to take him to the meeting room. Charles says he wants to enter alone because he wants to surprise everyone. He opens the door slightly and turns off the lights. The board members are confused when they see him. Charles soon realizes something is wrong. He has mixed up the addresses and has arrived at the board meeting instead of going to his date. He steps outside and checks C2's video feed. He discovers that C2 has already met Elaine. Elaine is also watching E2's feed and is surprised by what she sees. She starts wishing she had gone herself. At that moment, the two robots activate a hidden program. They suddenly begin developing human emotions. Charles and Elaine lose access to the robots' video feeds. They use tracking technology to find their last known location. This leads Charles and Elaine to meet each other by chance. They both pretend that they were the ones who attended the date the night before. They do this because they cannot reveal that they illegally own robot doubles. They compliment each other on what happened during the date and try to hide the truth. Then both robots call their owners. They explain that they no longer want to live as body doubles. They plan to escape to Mexico. Charles and Elaine realize they must stop them before they reach the border. If the robots are discovered, their illegal ownership could lead to serious prison time. The pair goes to the black market dealer who sold them the robots. The dealer tracks the machines and finds them inside a small greenhouse. Charles and Elaine look through the window and see the robots together. Charles kicks the door open and orders them to stop. He uses a stun device that shuts the machines down. The men carry C2 outside while Elaine stays inside. Suddenly, an unknown man enters the house and tries to take Elaine away. Charles returns and stops him. The man turns out to be someone Charles hired earlier to help capture the robots. Charles had promised to give him E2 as payment. Before they can leave, they hear a car engine outside. The robots have recovered from the stun device and drive away. They soon begin taking revenge on their owners. C2 sneaks into Charles's workplace during the night and makes a huge mess across the office. Charles has to invent an excuse to explain what happened without revealing the robot's existence. Elaine has an even bigger problem. E2 uses Elaine's dating profile to arrange 12 different dates for the same time and location. Later, the robots contact Charles and Elaine and claim that they have reached Mexico. Charles and Elaine are relieved because they believe the robots can no longer cause problems. Then the robots send another message telling the humans to join them in Mexico. They also send a video that appears to show them using Charles and Elaine's identities during a bank robbery. Charles and Elaine immediately believe they are now wanted by the police. They disguise their vehicle and rush toward the Mexican border. Halfway there, a police officer stops them. They expect to be arrested. Instead, the officer only tells them that paint is covering their taillights and orders them to clean them before continuing. Elaine then realizes something may be wrong with the story. She watches the robbery video again and notices that the footage has been digitally altered. She also discovers that the robots never went to Mexico. They had hacked into the humans' social media accounts and stolen their identities. The entire situation was a carefully planned deception. Charles and Elaine disguise themselves as the robots and return to Charles's house. They plan to capture the machines with the stun device. The plan fails and they only manage to capture E2. They return to the black market dealer to find a way to capture C2. Elaine enters the shop and demands another robot called E3. The dealer reveals that Elaine never paid him for E2. Instead, she had made a deal with him. He would build a third version of her for himself in exchange for giving her the second version. The dealer is forced to hand over E3 to help them. They create a new plan. E3 will disguise herself as E2 and record a fake romantic video with Charles. They expect C2 to become jealous and come looking for them. Their plan works and C2 heads straight toward them. The humans originally planned to destroy C2 when he arrives. However, they accidentally bring the wrong device. Instead of the weapon they intended to use, they bring a harmless beatbox device. They still manage to capture C2, but the police arrive immediately afterward and arrest everyone. At the police station, the authorities process the group and discover that their fingerprints are identical. This proves that some of them are illegal robots. Charles and Elaine face prison, while the robots are scheduled to be destroyed. Charles uses his phone call to contact the heavyset man he hired earlier. The man arrives and distracts the officers. This gives Charles, Elaine, and the robots a chance to escape. The humans and the robots then head toward the Mexican border. A security robot scans everyone before allowing them to cross. E2 goes through first. She still resents Elaine and immediately alerts the authorities. Charles realizes the security robot cannot be bribed. He makes a quick decision. He lets C2 cross the border so he and E2 can live together. The police arrive just after the robots cross into Mexico. The authorities accuse Charles and Elaine of illegally owning robotic doubles. However, the investigation finds no physical evidence because the robots are already gone. Charles and Elaine are released and return to their normal lives. For the first time, they have to handle their own work and chores without robot doubles. Their strange adventure finally comes to an end, but E3 is still out there and could become their next problem.